hey, I would like to know what is it something there that is not advertised in the job. So that shows you're really keen and interested. You want to know more about the company. And that make the job poster think twice. Did I miss something in there? Let me go check. Or they might have left something intentionally. Okay, this guy really know what he need to know. So let's fill in the detail. And who would want to miss a really good engineer, right? Creating account will not help you.
You need to learn how to sell yourself. The one thing that I learned was people will judge you and your skill based on what you say and what you have in your profile. Unless you really communicate that you know some things and you can handle those things, people will generally assume that you can. I have one friend. He's actually kind of starting up, and he had this idea that AI can do a lot of things. He don't want to do any of those typical projects that the starting engineers do, even when they're running, because he said, in his words, it's too typical. Everybody does that. If you are relying on something else to solve your problem, you're taking some kind of shortcut, then it's not going to help you in an interview, because in an interview you can't use AI, you can't take shortcuts, you can't do anything.
So you learn the hard way. Once you learn it, leverage it. Hey guys, welcome to the another episode of The Diary of a Developer. Today our guest is Safal Neupane, who has 5-year plus experience in software development. He's currently working as a mid-level software developer, but he had already previous experience overseas as well, doing some freelancing and working in a company. So let's welcome Safal today. Safal, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Can you explain yourself a little bit more if I miss something?
Yeah, so my name is Safal Neupane, and I've been here for almost 8 years now. I think a little bit above 8 years. And I'm currently working as a mid full stack developer in a really small, nice and small venture studio in Brisbane, and we call ourselves Joseph Mark.
That's amazing. And yes, we were talking earlier as well. There's a lot I want to go through today. I hope you guys gonna find really valuable information from him and you learn something so you go apply and build your career faster. So let's start with, when did you decide that you wanted to work in tech as a software developer?
I didn't had any plans before. I didn't have a dream of working as a software developer or even on software industry, because initially I had this desire or this curiosity to work with electronics. That's where I got started, actually.
Electronic
So,
engineer
yeah.
or something? Okay, yeah.
But I was really bad at math, so I probably wouldn't have made electronics engineer. But yeah, so the whole goal I had before was to understand how computer works, and not just computers, anything that's electronics. And I probably got this from my father. I think he used to teach electrical something classes before. He's
Oh,
not a
wow.
professor, I think, but he had this. I don't know how to say this. I don't know the name, but you can get the courses and you can start working as electricians.
Oh, okay.
So he
Some
was,
sort of like a certification course?
yes, something like that. And then he was really good at it, and he got to teach a couple of classes. So I probably got that thing from him, but we never had these tech things at home. Yeah, I was naturally curious about electronics, and I actually used to look down upon softwares,
Really?
and yeah, other facets of computer engineering. But then, yeah,
Why is that?
yeah, I don't know. I was mostly interested in hardware side of things, and I thought, well, you can't have a computer without a hardware. That
Yeah.
was my childish, and it
No,
was
no, no. That's
actually,
completely makes sense because the other day I listened Steve Jobs' book biography,
yeah,
and in there he was talking about who's the another partner? I forgot the name.
Steve Wozniak, I think.
Yeah,
Oh
the
no,
another one, the guy. Okay, damn it, I shouldn't have forgot that name. Okay, he used to say like software guys are chicken. You know, the electronics engineer, they actually get to get little bit of electric shock.
yeah,
You know, they even made a game. Like I think if they lose something, they get some sort of electric shock
yeah,
to get punished if you lose the game, some sort of thing. And then I think it's like a, yeah, I heard these things somewhere as well. The electronic guy sometime look down on software guy, but that was
yeah.
just as part of maybe this. Let's call it for fun.
I was a child basically when I used to look down upon softwares, but yeah, things happen, and then now I probably wouldn't do electronics. I love softwares.
Yeah. So you are glad that you made to the right industry.
Yes.
Okay, good to know. Okay, we are in the same page now. Can you tell me a little bit more about your current role and what is your typical day-to-day looks like?
Yep. So my current role, on paper, I'm called mid full stack developer, but day to day, it's mostly we have being a studio. We have both our internal venture products, and also we work for clients. And the studio, funny thing is, not only focused on dev or engineering side of things. We do designs and motions and a lot of things, and day to day is I'll probably be working with either one or two projects at a time. So getting in a couple of meetings a day, and mostly either implementing a feature if it's a new project, or if you're doing sort of upgrading the project, bug fixing, maintenance. I do infrastructure a lot, so update and restart. A lot of things. Yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot of restarts.
Okay, so basically you guys have your in-house product
Yes,
as well as you build product for other
clients. Yeah.
company, yeah, other client. Yeah, that's amazing. So you focus as a software developer, not only just developing, but you are looking into the infra as well, and
Yes.
maybe some DevOps as well, right?
Yeah, so usually what happens is we get assigned one or two backend devs and one or two front end devs for each project.
Mm-hmm.
And usually the backend devs are responsible for setting up the build pipelines, the runtimes, infrastructures,
Oh, okay.
repositories, and pretty much everything.
Oh, so they're doing
And
the DevOps work as well.
yeah, yeah, basically everything. That's my
Yeah,
full
that's what
stack.
the full stack we call,
Yeah,
right? You do everything yourself, and then if the team grows bigger, then you
yeah,
start specializing into the specific roles.
yeah.
How do you actually started learning to code?
Yeah, that's that's a funny thing because I mostly did electronics before,
Mm-hmm.
and I had this really, I don't know, it's a fancy word, the social anxiety is a fancy word, but I was just really shy
Okay,
as a
yeah.
kid, and still I am. So I didn't go out much, so I didn't have a lot of equipments and stuff to do electronics. So I only did mostly theory parts,
Mm-hmm.
and somehow I got started when I was doing the hardware thing. So when I say hardware, it's not just Arduino stuff.
Yeah.
That I think I got it when I was in 11th or 12th grade, so not much.
Oh,
Before just
good
doing
on
like a
you. Like you,
hardcore logic gates and transistors and stuff like those.
oh, you kind of privileged on that point of view,
Yeah.
like getting access to Arduino or piece of hardware tech
Yeah,
to play around. Sometimes that can be costly, like expensive.
that's really costly,
Yeah,
especially in Nepal. Yeah.
yeah. So it's a
Um,
good on you. Like, yeah, something I think that really help you look
yeah.
into the tech from early age, and
Mm.
then you focus more on developing software to work through that hardware.
Yeah, I was mostly into computer architecture. So from the logic gates point of view, kind of destructuring the microcontrollers, and not practically but theoretically, obviously I didn't have the tools.
Mm-hmm.
So looking into it, how the control unit works, how the ALU works, and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of realized when I was building my imaginary 12-bit computer,
Okay.
I kind of realized, okay, that's how programming works. That's how the code works, not the
Mm-hmm.
coding. Coding and code for me is different.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of realized that's how when everybody's like keep talking about um, programming or software is basically you're commanding computer do something.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I kind of realized, okay, so that's what we're doing when we program. So now the software thing, I had to learn programming. I think C. I think it was a really popular one at that time.
Yeah.
C and QBasic was, I don't know why they choose QBasic, but QBasic was on school. So that knowledge was here, and what I was doing with the hardware was here.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was working with that computer, that imaginary 12-bit computer, that kind of bridged those two gaps.
Right.
I really don't want to call learning C or just going through that book actually learning how to program, because I didn't have a computer. I got my computer when I was in 11th grade.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so what I did before the 11th grade was mostly theoretical. So that breezing kind of opened up this whole world of software. and that's when I started studying programming more seriously. So I had this big scary book of C. I think it had everything with the C and all the projects and everything. And that's where it all began.
Oh, that's like a interesting story.
Yeah.
So especially guy from the interesting in electronics and later on going to software,
Yeah.
and then finding the balance between multiple programming languages. Yeah,
Yeah.
most of the software developer, they probably start from software straight away.
Yeah.
And like for me, I used to love electronics. My room used to be so much full of wire.
Me too. I had a big box with chunks.
Yeah, and then people used to get scared to come inside my room because the wire, our room was very small, and I had my own made big wooden table,
Yeah.
and right beside my bed. So I get up the bed, and everything is on the table, like a wild big table, and wiring is going everywhere. I love to set up like a speaker to the open up radio, every single
Yeah.
part, and play around with this different motherboard with a different some sort of that hardware piece. Yeah, I used to get like electrics shock a lot, and yeah, learn that hardware as well. But later on, I developed more interest in software as well. Looking back, what was the toughest things about uh, your early days in terms of
Learning
getting into the industry?
into the industry. Okay. So I was not really social, so I didn't have much connections at all. And I didn't have any friends or any mentors or anyone that could guide me into the industry. So what I had was uh, all of this knowledge that I kind of accumulated from years. So electronics, I went to. So when I said code and coding is kind of different for me. So I knew how to write code. I learned a couple of languages. When I say learn, it's kind of getting the taste of different languages, but not really learning them in depth because I had no idea how you solve a problem using code. So that's where
Okay.
the coding thing happens.
Exactly, true.
Yeah. So I knew how to code, but not. I
Solving
mean,
the
yeah, I could
particular
write
problem.
code, but not do the coding as a dev. So
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense,
Yeah,
but
just anybody who's listening, let's make it understand for them so that
yeah,
they know
sure.
where they're at. So it's like, guys, when you learn to code, basically you're gonna go through multiple tutorials. Probably gonna go into the tutorial hells,
Yeah,
and then you're gonna learn some topics about coding, and you feel like you know the coding foundation fundamental. You know how to write the syntax. You know how to write the loop. You know how to
yeah,
create the data structure. But when the problem is given to you, so you know all the parts, but you are yet to be able to combine all this part and solve that specific problem. So this is kind of still the journey, but with early stage to call
yeah,
yourself a developer. So if you are still learning to code, guys, and still cannot solve your problem, maybe it's too early to say you're self a developer, but you can call programmer. Hey, why
yeah,
not? Because you can still code.
yeah. I think it's also, I don't know if this sounds too cheesy, but manifestations. When you start
True.
calling yourself an engineer or programmer, that you just don't know enough yet, but you will be in a
Oh
couple of
yeah,
years. So
definitely. I tell my student all the time. As soon as they get to 1 month pass of training,
yeah,
I call them now pick 3 job title and you start calling yourself. So whenever you
perfect. Yeah,
introduce yourself to anybody else, you should actually introduce that. Actually, I want to share one story. The other day, I think a couple of days ago, I
yeah,
met one of my friend circle, and someone was like with him. And then when we introduced, she said, "I'm software engineer." I said, "Oh, okay, great. Another software engineer. Love to know what do you do? Where do you work?" And she said, "Studying."
right.
Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
yes,
And then says, I'm studying in UTS. So you are studying software engineer. Great. And in my head, great attitude. You
yeah,
have to call yourself software engineer before you can even actually do engineering part, right? That's like something called manifestation. And
yeah,
not only that, now let's say, for example, for me, now I know someone who wants to become software engineer and who is on the path. Let's say if I don't have any other option and if I need to recommend someone to somewhere, I would probably recommend her to somebody else,
yeah,
isn't it?
definitely.
So
Yeah,
it's really important that you call yourself the thing that you want to become, especially when you introduce to somebody else.
yeah.
Just to go back to the toughest day.
Yeah, yeah. So I knew how to write code, but I was really bad at solving problems. I could recall from my head, I can create programs, and I even went to security. So this is the whole story.
Okay.
But so I went to cybersec as well because it's really interesting, and I could write these reverse cells and bind cells and everything from memory. But if I was asked to kind of create anything from scratch, I'll probably like anything new. Then I obviously didn't have the skills. And I'd say this book really helped me. This called Learn Python the Hard Way. That's a really nice book that kind of helped me from knowing the code versus kind of creating your solution. Like you have a solution in your head and kind of taking that into the editor and then making it something else. So that really helped. So actually getting into the industry, I had the knowledge, so I could solve a problem. I can make everything, but now I had no experience of actually working or making a project as a group.
Mm.
So yeah, that took some time, but we started this big platform, just cousins and our friends, and we kind of got together and make this. We only had one Android application at that time, and then we kind of expanded it to backend, and we had the whole infrastructure set up. But that's where I got this really learning the hard way
Mm-hmm.
of getting into the industry. So working with teams, there were people who had no idea what Git was, so kind of mentoring them at the same time, working with Android, working with infrastructure, and obviously the backend. So that kind of got me into this whole journey, and that actually helped me land a job.
Okay, so the primary challenge was you didn't have a much experience working as a team or
Yeah.
like a project building skills.
Yes.
So that is the pretty much putting down your like confidence on getting the job,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
So
Yeah.
yeah, guys, there is one like a good note to take. If you probably still looking for a job, but you have that imposter syndrome, hey, maybe I'm not ready for the job, that's what exactly you can do. Do group project, actually solve some specific problem, show other people and get feedback. And if you made that through, then you are ready. Just go apply for a job and let the industry test you. So you
Yeah.
learn from that anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, I used to do a couple of freelance things and just to kind of motivate everybody. So I did few freelance things, some small projects, and to do a small part of a small project is not a big deal, and you kind of get hang of those things. But when I really get into uh, industry, like when I really wanted to get into the industry and want to have a stable job, apart from freelance, that's what I was managed to get. My first title was senior backend dev, so that
Wow.
was the first, yeah, first title I managed to crack. Obviously, I had the whole knowledge and skills and everything there, but to kind of motivate everybody because a lot of people from our culture they don't have a lot of mentors. So whatever they do, whatever they learn is themselves from YouTube, whatever,
Mm.
and they have the skills, but they're missing some things. So if they kind of fulfill that, the missing something, that they really can be a senior or mid-level engineer from
True.
like, yeah, and people don't realize that, and it really hurts me.
Yeah, and that's like very true because the problem is we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
And then unless you become software engineer, you don't know the path because you haven't walked yet.
Yes.
Then you need some mentor to walk you to that path.
Mm,
And most
right.
of the time, what we do is, hey, instead of getting some mentor or telling somebody else, I'll figure it out. But the problem is we don't know yet what to figure it out.
Yeah.
At least if we get some sort of, let's say, not start, hey, I need to go this way, then maybe we can start figuring out the direction. But if we
Yeah.
don't know where to go, it's going to take a lot of trial and error. That's going to cost a lot of time and potential income. So
Yeah.
instead of that, if we can find someone to help you, I mean, there is a software developers everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And just reach out to them, try to get at least some feedback from them, and if you can, get the mentorship. So that will
Yeah.
definitely help you sort on the path.
If you really don't have anyone around you, probably, I mean, a book did, like, a book was the mentor for me.
Yeah.
So if you're really thirsty, if you really genuinely wants to get to the industry, because there are a lot of people who is really looking at the financial or the money factor of the industry because it's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, unless you really are hungry, you cannot do it.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard. Yeah.
Yeah, but if
It's-
you're really that hungry, then any resources that you can find can kind of put you in that path.
of course.
And if you have somebody who's been through that journey, then that's it. Like you're there.
Normally, what we don't realize is that our opportunity cost,
Yeah.
rather we compare with what am I gonna have to spend upfront,
Yeah.
and that means maybe not hungry enough, or maybe some other personal circumstances that we cannot
Yeah.
control. But if possible, finding the map that can take you faster is always the better way, isn't it?
Yeah. Obviously.
Okay, with that saying, from your first hello world to actually land that job that paid you, how long did it take? Because normally students have this mindset saying, hey, I need to get a job in 3 months.
Yeah, it took a long time. Just because I was not looking for a job, to be honest, when I started. This whole thing started for me just because I wanted to explore this world. I wanted to explore the world of electronics and the software, and then later it became cybersecurity and all these things. I never had this need for I need to find a job, and then I came here and then did all kind of jobs. It's like literally done all kind of job, and then there was this need that I had this skill and I'm not using it. And then I started looking for freelance stuff, and it took me at least, I'd say, 3 years, 4 years
Whoa,
to
that's
actually.
yeah, that's very long time to keep going
Yeah.
without getting the job. So if you didn't have really a passion in it, probably you'd have quit it, isn't it?
Yeah, and also I say 3 years because I was studying, I was just exploring that part. I was not serious enough to learn a software or learn a programming language or getting into software. So yeah, 3 years minimum.
Wow. Did you ever feel like quitting?
Well, I did actually because I went back to electronics
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't find that book, or I had the book, but I just didn't have this direction. I was not hungry enough for a job. I was still studying, and also I just wanted to explore. So I went back to electronics, and then again I went to cybersecurity. So I was not doing the actual software part of it, the coding or anything. So yeah, I quit a lot of times, and then finally got back.
Okay. How did you get that first job? Let's talk about it.
Actually, I started an account on Upwork. So I started Upwork. I had no idea. I had
Freelancing in
some,
Upwork.
yeah, freelance on
Guys,
Upwork.
anybody who doesn't know Upwork, can you explain them what is it?
Yeah, so this it's like an Amazon, but it's
Developers.
basically for all kind of professionals. So you create an account and you say, hey, these are my skills, and I can do these things for you. And also there are other people who are looking for people to hire to do certain things, maybe designing, maybe for development, maybe they have some bugs and they want somebody to fix it. So that's a really nice way to get a job.
Yeah,
Kind
yeah.
of get a taste of working at a tech job. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if anybody who is currently looking for a job and do not have any commercial skill, that would be great,
Yeah, that would be
great
awesome.
path. Yet it has its own challenge how to get actually contract.
Definitely.
So yeah, you need to learn to sell yourself and your skills. Hey, that will teach you persuasion skill, and definitely should try that as well. So there are many different other platforms, Upwork, Freelancer.com,
Yeah, I think last or not
Fiverr.
last or Fiverr. Yeah.
Yeah, Fiverr. I think these are the three top ones. I think there are a lot. Maybe somebody can just write down in the comment and then let you guys read
Yeah.
it. But definitely try it out. Again, that's just going there and creating account will not help you. You need to go try to get the job.
Yeah, you need
And
to learn. Yeah, like you said, you need to learn how to sell yourself, and
mm,
that'll also kind of teach you this. The one thing that I learned was people will judge you and your skill based on what you say and what you have in your profile. So
mm,
yeah, you kind of get you'll from the trial and error you'll learn how to sort of explain yourself so people know that you know how to do things, and then
exactly.
they'll hire you.
Yeah, it's that's another part of the communication skill because nobody knows you until you tell them the way they like to hear,
Yeah,
right?
and also in work, I mean, I'm still working, and even the projects that I'm doing currently, yeah, it really matters. Unless you really say or communicate that you know some things and you can handle those things, people will generally assume that you can. Right.
Yeah,
So
otherwise,
you'll
how would
miss
I
the
know? If you
opportunities.
don't tell me what you can
Yeah.
do, at least how would I know? Yeah, I may want to see, show me the proof.
Yeah.
That's the second stage, right?
Yeah, and also it kind of makes sense in your head because I mean you're doing a back end, so you naturally would like you think that people will realize that you're doing back end, so you already know these things, but they don't. They don't really assume those things.
That's
So you
true.
need to tell them, if not just on Upwork, not just finding a first job, but always when you're working. So
Okay, so
throughout your career, you need to.
yeah, that's true. So continue to the same topics.
Yeah.
How did you get the job, and then what let's basically what one thing made an employer or that recruiter finally notice you and they decided to hire you. This is to help our audience who is
Yeah.
struggling to get the job. So what is the path you have taken to get the job so they can model that one in overseas or here. And
Yeah.
then the another question is now when you come to Australia, then what path did you take to get the job? So you definitely have learned something that you could have avoided. So we want to help them avoid those thing, do that right thing so you get the right job faster.
Okay. Yeah. So first thing obviously is kind of getting yourself out there. So I created my LinkedIn account. I had account on Seek, and I created a resume. Changed it multiple times. Obviously, you need to do that, and you need to experiment with different formats of the resume, obviously. And one thing I think that really helped me land my stable job was LinkedIn Premium.
Well,
So
okay.
I'm talking about here in Sydney.
Australia, okay.
So I had a LinkedIn Premium, and what I used to do was I apply for a job, look at the person who posted a job, and immediately text them. Say, hey,
Awesome.
yeah, you posted this ad. I have applied to your job. I'd like to know more about this. That's not kind of advertised there. And most of the time, 90% of the time, everybody will reply and they'll give you more details. And it's much more like you have more chances of getting an interview, at least the first call.
That's true.
So you get that chance to sort of get out there, and that's the first thing. So get a LinkedIn. You don't have to get a LinkedIn Premium, but that really helped me. And also, actually, my wife, she came here almost 2 years back. She had some experience there, and she's not from technical background. She's from business background, business management, and we did the same thing. So I exactly repeated what I did with my LinkedIn and resume and everything, and she was able to land her first job without any reference, without anything, and she was working from home. So we
That's
both used to
amazing.
work from home side by side. So
Okay.
yeah, that's the most important thing. I'd highly recommend if you have LinkedIn, get a LinkedIn and then get a
I,
LinkedIn Premium.
yeah. Most of the job feel through something like this.
Yeah,
I just kept one note down that specific word here that will help anybody because this is something good. And the reason I'm going to say this is here, like I think you need to have like at least 5 or 6 different ways to get job offers, right?
yeah,
So basically, if you do not get job offer, you never have a job, right?
yeah,
And in order to get job offer, you need to let people somehow come close to you, or you need to go close to them,
yeah,
right? So
definitely.
applying job, if you see now, probably in 1 or 2 days you're going to see hundreds of applications for per job, right? But
Yeah,
how are you going to stood out,
yeah,
right? That's how you send out the message. And sending all the message, generic message, not going to cut out. I think the one word here I really like what you said is that, hey, I recently applied, blah, 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 pretty standard. And first, compliment, acknowledge, and ask. You need
yeah,
to follow that pretty much the format, how to send the message. But here, what he said is that, hey, I'd like to know what is it something there that is not advertised in the job.
yeah,
So that shows you're really keen and interested. You want to know more about the company. And that make the job poster think twice. Did I miss something in there? Let me go check. Or they might have left something intentionally. Or they find, okay, this guy really know what he need to know. So
yeah,
let's send them the detail. And who would want to miss a really good engineer, right?
yeah,
And at least you get one shot getting closer.
Yeah,
If you just
definitely.
only say, hey, I just recently applied for a job there,
Yeah.
and I'm also sending here just in case if you miss. Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
much, I think,
that kind
generic
of counts
message.
as a spam.
Yeah, so that's pretty much most of the people do anyway. So
Yeah.
it's all about being able to ask the right question.
Mm.
That's gonna really give you advantage. So that's something really,
Yeah.
the important to take note.
And also after that, I mean, just want to kind of add to that. So that's the first thing. So you get an interview, but generally what we do is after we get an interview, we don't kind of get back. It's not just about the interview. You got the interview, it was really nice, but they have many more people to interview.
Mm.
And also, if the team is really small or they're really busy, then they want to hire somebody fast, somebody who's really reliable.
Mm.
So one of the best things that I kind of managed or figured out was when the interview is done, give them a day or two or one day and a half, and then you email them, the one who you interviewed or you gave interview to. So you email them, say, hey, I think the interview went really great. How it's looking on the other side, what's going on? And recently, my wife actually she had to leave the job, but now she got even better one.
Okay, good on you. Yeah,
So
because
we did the
you know the
exact same.
process.
Yeah, we did the
I think
exact
I should
same.
get you your process written in a template and provide to
Probably, yeah.
share with my students or even you guys. I would
Yeah.
love that because I see your I always like to get other people's opinion how they have done it,
Yeah.
and we have our own list
Yeah.
what we ask student to do, and then see what we can do better to make that system
Mm,
even better.
right,
So yeah,
yeah.
tell me more about it.
Sure. Yeah, so what we did was, I mean, it's really easy to, especially when you apply a job and when you really need it,
Yeah.
it's really easy to get freaked out and get impatient.
Mm.
So you need to understand that you need to put yourself in their shoes and kind of think if you were hiring somebody
Mm.
and you had a really small team or really big team, then you kind of need to empathize first and then kind of give them some time to evaluate. And then we did the same thing. She was really scared and
Okay.
really impatient. And then I said, wait, give them 2 days. And then she texted back, actually, was through messages.
Oh,
And they
okay.
said, it was really nice, it was really lovely to speak to you, but we're still interviewing more candidates. That's what they said. And he said, no worries. Take your time. It's really glad that you gave me the opportunity. If you need anything, please feel free to contact.
Mm.
Next week, no interview, we got a job.
Ah, there you go. That's great.
So,
You see, it shows it shows for the employer. This guy is really interested. You can see in the interview. Is that the desperation,
yeah,
or because the right person
yeah,
for the role?
definitely. And also kind of give them this edge for deciding for you in favor of you because you are really communicating when you're kind of helping them select a right person. Right? You're kind of
Exactly.
taking burden off of them.
Mm.
And when our manager texted back with the offers, he said, we knew and we had already decided it was you. And obviously, there's the interview part, they really have to nail it. So she did really great. And they were like, we already knew that it's going to be you, but we had to sort of verify or get the sign off from one of our team members. So we didn't want it to kind of spoil it to you. And
Yeah,
then we gave
that's
it to,
completely makes sense
yeah,
because we don't want to hear the good news and later on saying, "Hey, unfortunately," that would hurt
yeah, that was
more.
really hard.
Yeah, so nobody does that
Yeah. So
really.
yeah, that's the process that I kind of distill. So you first create your image. That's resume. That's your profile, whatever. And then if you have LinkedIn Premium, that's great because you can see if somebody have viewed your profile, of who viewed your profile, how many times, and all these things.
Mm.
And then you can also get access to skill development path. I think they bought another
The LinkedIn
company.
Learning,
Yeah,
you mean?
LinkedIn
Ah, okay.
Learning, and then you can also get certificates from there if you're really new to kind of show off that you really know the skills,
Mm.
and you can expand your network, and then you can. The next thing is applying, and there's also timing because there is some either during the tax time or something they're not gonna like you're not gonna get that response, right? You really have to
When
time
there
the
is a
market as well.
busy
Yeah,
time. Mm.
and then kind of be patient. You're gonna get a lot of unfortunately emails, and then when you apply, you talk to the hiring manager, and then next is the interview, and second thing is you kind of get in touch with them, even if the interview went well or whatever. We might think interview went well, but I don't know how to think.
You would know.
Yeah.
And one thing we definitely don't want to do is to, I think more than one thing, desperation.
Yeah.
Make sure, hey, I'm desperate, tell me fast. No, this something, never use that word.
Yes.
Like if somebody say, I'm desperate, that's okay, guys. Yeah, we are desperate, but let's keep it inside. We don't want to showcase our weakness.
Yeah.
And then something, you don't want to be more pushy.
Yeah.
Rather add value to it. Every communication add value to it. So what you can do to basically make them easy to take a decision. Doesn't matter you are right person or wrong person, but give a reason for them to use that information to validate more.
Yeah.
Right?
Actually, I got this unfortunately emails from a lot of places, but the funny thing was, I gotten messages when I was already working full time. Somebody sent me an email say, "Hey, we went to the interview, but unfortunately we were not able to go with you.
Back in days, yeah.
But hey, if you're ready, we'd like to start with you." I said, "Sorry, I already had a job, but
Yeah,
thank
that
you for
happens a
giving."
lot.
Yeah.
Actually, guys, one more quick insight in the industry. So what they do, most of the company when you apply, they will keep your resume for 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
And one thing, if they find that current hire is not right hire,
Yeah.
immediately they will go to the second option, third option. So you might be those ones.
Yeah.
So always end the interview with the good attitude. So
Definitely, yeah.
and then other reason is they might need more developer, more engineer, or somebody from little bit different roles that requires pretty much similar skills.
Yeah.
And then instead of just going through entire new application process, they will just scan, okay, existing one, let's give him a call,
Yeah.
which is more faster for them.
Definitely. So yeah, the interview thing also counts a lot. That's so the personality that you kind of express and the way you communicate with them, choice of words,
Yeah, that's
how you dress,
yeah.
everything matters. But if
And then body
body
gesture,
language is yeah,
body language, yeah.
and so even if you don't get the job, you still are in their sort of list. So you might always get a call. It might be even better offer than your current job. So you might be able to switch, right?
True.
You might be able to grow. So yeah, you never know which one is the one. So you have to give your best to everything.
That's true. That's true. So with that job, which single project or single skill gave you the biggest advantage? Like
If we
why? What do you think you got selected for that job?
okay, so I
There
don't
might
know.
be other interviews for sure. So
Definitely,
I
yeah.
want to share that journey so they know what they need to look into.
Yeah. I think I would say the kind of technology that I was working with and the kind of skill that I had. And I'm really picky when I apply to jobs. I don't apply to like random things that I find in LinkedIn. So I only apply to the ones that I know when I get an interview, I can really crack it. Like I can really
Yeah,
get a
that's
nice one.
tailoring the job search
Yeah.
strategy.
So what I did was I only applied to this one that I had really nice experience with, and I can really give them something that they're looking for. And
Okay, let's just to make it easier for everybody to understand.
yeah,
You applied the job.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take you through that journey. So I wanna literally we're gonna go back in time and then
Okay.
try to picture the moments.
Right, yeah, yeah.
In the fast forward mode. So
Yeah.
you applied. What happened?
So I
First.
applied. Actually, they called me, and I was in another job.
Okay.
I was working kitchen at that time. So called me, and I don't usually pick up from unknown numbers.
Okay.
So it was actually them. They called
Almost
me
missed
twice.
the job.
They called me twice actually.
Oh, good.
And then they sent me a message saying, "Hey, we really liked your profile and like to interview if you are available this Friday." And
Awesome.
interview is actually Friday.
Did you know where the call was coming from? Did you know what job was it?
No, I had no
Yeah,
idea.
there's a lot of problem happens, because you keep applying jobs.
Yeah, and
So how did you deal that first?
because I had this peace of mind that I only applied to the ones that I can really crack it. So I
Yeah.
knew the questions they were going to ask is only about, at that time I was doing Django, to be specific, Python, Django, AWS, and some particular services on AWS. So I
Okay.
knew the questions going to be only around them. And
Correct.
obviously the typical interview
Questions.
goes. So yeah, so I had that peace of mind, but I was completely unknown. At some point, when you apply so many interview, so many
Jobs.
jobs and going through all interviews, you kind of start to be more calm.
Yeah,
You start to develop that skill, and
personal skill.
yeah. So
What happened on that call and how did that go?
so actually, my first call was with engineering manager, not HR.
Hmm,
So and
interesting.
it was really nice because those two call was actually, I think, the first level, the HRs and the one who actually posted the job.
Mm-hmm.
That probably would have been that call, but I
Mm-hmm.
missed it, and it was really lucky for me. So I get to skip that phase because they were really looking for somebody to fill in,
Okay.
and I think they at first they thought that I made my resume looking at the job description,
Mm-hmm.
because the job description they had and the resume I had was exact match, like almost an
Yeah,
exact
that's
match.
what you're supposed to be doing, guys.
Yeah. So they probably thought I was kind of scamming them, and
Oh,
then
okay. They want to verify that for
and
sure.
also, yeah, so they wanted to verify. So the engineering manager at that time was working mostly with front end, so he was really good with Next.js and React and everything.
Mm.
So he was the one who kind of took me through a couple of questions,
Mm.
trying to really understand what I
Was
did
that the like kind
before.
of like a tech interview kind of thing?
Yeah, almost like a tech interview. So
Okay.
I didn't have to do the coding interview,
Mm-hmm.
but there was more like a tech interview. So the questions that I was asked was mostly about what I did, how I solved certain problems, what are the challenging things, not a typical interview question, but challenging thing in terms of technology or in terms of that particular languages or even Django, for example.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, so the interview was over, and no, nothing for 2 days. And I emailed them and said, hey, yeah, I think the interview went well, but I haven't heard from you guys. Is there anything else? Please let me know.
Mm.
And what will be the next step if I really did it right? Paraphrasing, but
Yeah,
that's
that's kind of
basically,
message. Yeah.
yeah. And then they replied, I think next day or the same day evening, and said, hey, we want to get you to another interview with two of our engineers,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to be mostly technical interview. And I said, yeah, sure, amazing. And
Yeah.
then two of our engineers, one have already left the job, but another one we actually work together. So he's
Oh,
my colleague.
okay.
So
Okay, that's kind
so
of
two
odd.
of them, yeah. So two of them was there, and one was back end engineer, and one was front end engineer. So
Okay.
two of them threw all these questions at me, and it was not a coding interview, but it was almost like a coding interview. I didn't have to code anything.
It's like more like system design, probably.
Not really system design, but it was like they have a different way of doing interviews. You don't have to uh, solve a coding problem,
Mm-hmm.
but they'll ask you all these technical things. One thing that I learned, or one thing that really helped me answer that question was there's a concept called defensive programming.
Okay.
So this also comes from the cybersecurity. So when you're writing something, when you're creating a function or when you're dealing with anything, any lines of code, if it has some kind of input,
Mm-hmm.
then you kind of exaggerate everything, every possible input that the variable can have or that the function can have, and then you kind of handle those things first and then move on to using those.
Mm. Try to always learn to write questions. That will definitely showcase you have more depth knowledge.
Yeah.
You're not gonna question to get kind of sneaky answer, but you trying to ask the question to like narrow down your problem. Like you have already, let's say you listed out 10 problem in your head, and then that could go wrong. But you
Yeah.
start checking out, okay, you have like a 7 problem you think definitely is not the problem. Now out of 3 things, 3 problem, you can have some sort of condition that could cause that problem,
Yeah,
and then you
definitely.
can say, hey, can you tell me some sort of, let's say, exception here, or what assumption can we
Yeah.
say, what can we assume here, do we have this data available, or you ask question in that to further narrow down so that they know, okay, this guy have a brilliant
Yeah.
problem solving skill. And if you go through that like a problem solving solution, sometimes they don't appreciate just giving them answer as much as they appreciate when you go through
Yeah.
that conversation dialogue, the right question asking until you figure it out the problem,
Mm,
that
yeah.
is going to be really really valuable. Okay,
Yeah.
that's something great. I think, guys, you're learning something great now. And so after that, okay, so what happened? So we are basically going through his job landing process, so we actually learned something from him.
Yeah.
So let's
So
say
can I?
we round up that interview or something else.
No. So there's a few more questions, but I don't remember honestly.
Yeah, that's fine. But
But
it's a kind of this is kind of a technical deep down interview.
yeah, yeah, basically, yeah.
So let's say, how did that interview wrapped up?
Yeah. Before that, I'll probably mention one more thing that I've experienced in my job search.
Yes.
Was well, not job search, but interviews. So there's two kind of technical interviews. One is third party. They are not that technically inclined, or they might not know the technology that they're applying for. So it's an outside agency that will try to validate how you do things. It's more like a lead code kind of things, like how
Timed
quickly
problem
you do,
solving,
yeah,
data
problem
structure and
solving
algorithm.
things.
Yeah.
And the one that I went through, two of the interviews. So one was a couple of years back, and then one was the one that I was talking about before. So both of them, I had engineers asking you questions, like asking me questions. So they don't appreciate you giving. You're trying to be smart, or you're trying to give like a
Beating around the
regular.
bush.
Yeah, they all know that you don't know certain things,
I
and it's
mean, we can tell anybody as soon as they open the mouth and
yeah,
start talking about what they know, we know
yeah,
their level. So, guys, any experienced engineer easily picks the level of your
yeah.
understanding. So,
You
how
you
you talk,
can't fool them.
you can fool them. So, try not to be the best thing gonna be honest.
Yeah, be honest. And yeah, there was actually so when we wrapped up that interview, and that kind of fits really nicely to the point that we just mentioned. So the third interview, again, no response. I emailed them
Okay, so how
two
did
days.
that render like a end like a wrapped up? They say, okay, that's all the interview. Thank you so much. We'll get back to you if you get selected. Or what did they say? That last
So
1 minute.
yeah, I think it was asking me any questions, and then there was few questions that I asked. Particularly, they explained me the technology they were using. So I had a couple of questions like, "Hey, do you always use this, or is it just an edge case that we're using this kind of technology?" And so they were really kind enough to answer those. Got everything clear, and so there's like, it's really nice interview. So yeah, we'll talk to we'll talk to you about like next process if we get selected, or I think they mentioned something around the one who took my first interview. Probably he would be coming back or kind of get in touch with me if we get further. And it's like, yeah, everything went up, and no response again. Again, I said, hey, I think the interview went really great with the engineering team. I really loved them, and actually it was really amazing. We had a lot of laughs actually in interview. That
Yeah,
really doesn't happen.
that sort of interview, guys. You want to create the experience because they are taking interview from other people. They don't
Yeah,
want to work
they'll
with
get
boring people
bored.
as well,
They
right?
already they are an engineering team, so they already had the responsibilities to, I don't know, probably fix bugs, or get documentation and everything. Some boring dev job, and then again they have to come up and then take, I don't know how many
Interviews.
interviews. So you don't want to get them bored.
Yeah, I just want to add one more thing here, which is really valuable. During the problem solving session, it's sometimes going to be hard to build the relation there because you
Yeah.
need to think through it and then you're going to go through the stress, that nervousness,
Mm.
and you're worried about it. If you can crack the joke in between, do great. It's going to definitely give you some
Yeah.
extra like credit for you. But the best time to build a relation is that when they say, always in interview everybody will say, do you have any question,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
And this is where you actually not just ask your predefined preset scripted question. See how did the conversation go, what you don't know about them, what you would like to know, or what you wish you would know, so that could have
Yeah.
helped with the interview, or something about what you have just done it, and then go back to them and then say, okay, yes, I definitely want to know about XYZ.
Mm.
Tell me, can you tell me about it? And then that's where you can build a like
Yeah.
relation. That's why now you have full power to extend your conversation as long as they have time, and you
Yeah.
build a relation. And remember one thing, I don't remember what does it call in psychology, but people always remember the first part and the last part
Yeah.
of the conversation. So if you establish that really good, probably something in the middle, it will help you
Yeah.
with
Definitely.
the selection process.
Yeah, and also I was fortunate enough because the engineer who gave me that particular Django problem, she actually had a syntax error when she actually showed me the code, and I was like, they are engineers. They were working, and she was really experienced. Like she started working probably even before I finished my school, so probably that was not the syntax error
Problem.
wouldn't have been the question they're
Question,
asking me
of
actually.
course. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and I said is that you missed the colon purposefully, or is like
Part of
part
the
of the
interview.
question?
So that's
Otherwise, I would
gonna be
say
the.
syntax error, and I laughed, and all three of us laughed, and
So
it
I
was like
think
a really
that
nice moment.
this is really showcase your confidence there, which is
Yeah.
really great way you present because you already thought through. You could just say, okay, there is a like a syntax problem, and then
Yeah.
you could have said that, right? But you
Yeah.
thought, senior engineer coming here, not definitely asking me.
Yeah.
That comes with the experience only, the guys. That's why probably that could be intentional or not, but that shows which level of engineer you are.
Yeah.
That's something really good.
And they made like we had a fun, and they also they mentioned like you don't get extra points
For that. Okay.
for sporting those. So
Okay.
we had a nice laugh, and it was,
Yeah.
I think it was a nice bonding moment.
Yeah,
But
that
also the
always
next
help.
thing, the one that you mentioned about the asking questions back was, I tried to ask those typical questions that like out of the
Pre-scripted.
format, yeah, pre-scripted. And then I realized it's a technical interview. They're much more experienced than me. They probably know more languages, more technology, more frameworks than me. So I probably it's best time for me, no, like apart from the interview side of things and asking questions and kind of building that relationship, but also I might be able to learn something, even a little bit. I'll probably get this chance to explore some different aspect of technology. And I said, and I asked actually that questions because I was not really. I had worked with Kubernetes before, but there were some questions about Kubernetes, and I asked one particular question like, "Hey, do you really do this?
In the production or
Yeah,
something.
while you make the products, all your venture products, do you really use this specific, or is there a reason for not using versus using them always?" And they really gave me a nice answer, and that really gave me this direction of learning Kubernetes, and now I do Kubernetes full time.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
yeah, that was also a
I just
nice.
got in a really good idea here. Uh, I think everybody should do this. We always advise any career coach or mentor. They always advise whenever you're going to next interview, never think that that's your last interview. It's gonna put so much stress on your shoulder, and you're gonna like screw up.
Yeah.
So rather go there to learn something for the next interview.
Yeah.
Now from you, I just got one more idea. Why don't you always think about now I have a free access to senior engineers,
Yeah.
then
That's
I'm gonna
perfect.
buy like a make
Yeah.
like a benefit out of it.
Yeah.
Because if you go to interview, if you do great, of course that's the main goal. But if you say I have to pass that, that's my last like a chance. Otherwise I'm gonna die or something.
Yeah.
So that's gonna definitely give you too much stress.
Yeah.
You're not gonna do very well. But if you think that okay, I'm gonna do something as much as better, but I'm gonna do more learning path. Now you have real software engineer.
Yeah.
If you feel like it's working good or not, at the end just ask. So get ready, learn something from free from senior engineers that you wouldn't
Yeah.
probably get from anywhere, right? That would be really valuable too.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got interview. You didn't get hear anything from them.
Yeah.
What happened next?
So again, I emailed them, and they said, okay, so we our tech team really loved your skills and really loved you, and we'd probably go to one last interview. That's going to be the last. So you'll be interviewed with managing director and technical director together.
Is that kind of like a behavioral interview now or
Yeah, it was
cultural?
also part behavioral and part
Still
technical interview.
Oh, okay.
Because there's technical director there. And I said, yeah, amazing. So I think it was Thursday or Friday. I was in the interview, and I kind of got this confidence that okay, so I passed 2 interviews, so I really have a chance here, right? So kind of you'll get that spidey sense when you've
Yeah,
done enough
true.
interviews.
True.
And I went there, and then that interview was really intense. Not the usual behavioral part, because
Okay.
I mean it's a small team and everyone's really friendly. So even if when you're doing interview, they treat you like a family, like nice friends. Like it's amazing.
True.
So what happened was we started with the technical parts first, and then second the behavioral part. I think we kind of went back and forth. I forgot, but so the behavioral part was basically one word that your colleague would have described you or friends, like typical questions, right?
Yeah.
So like if you were an animal, what animal you would be and why, all those things. And he said before he asked questions like, I'm a managing director, so I'm gonna ask you all these kind of questions.
Oh,
So
okay.
so he made it really clear, like we're having fun. This is where we have fun. Like you don't have to be stressed. And I'm gonna like
Enjoy the interview.
yeah, we all three of us gonna enjoy the interview. And so he asked me those questions, and the technical director asked me only the technical things, mostly the technical things. And then yeah, there was basically other questions. And I think managing director was like really straight. She was like, "Hey, this is nice, this is great. I think you're gonna be the one, but we need to take some time to decide. But yeah, we'll let you know." I was like so happy.
Good to hear that.
And then I think by Friday, I think the Thursday that interview happened, Thursday midday or evening, and by Friday I got an email say, "Hey, um, we really like you, and we want to give you a long-term contract." So in our company, we don't hire full-time immediately. We do a
Like a
full-time contract,
contract, and
and
then followed
then
by the
yeah,
yeah.
full-time employment.
That's common. A lot of companies do that.
Yeah, and then I got a contract, and yeah, I looked at the money and I was like, I don't think I can do this.
Wow, wow. So,
Yeah, like
guys, so what he's trying to say is you're getting really good pay. So you can get really good pay if you're a real engineer.
yeah, that's one of the bad part of the industry as well. And I'm saying bad because a lot of people get attracted to the industry because of the money, and
Yes,
that's really bad.
because yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I
and
need
then and they are the one that don't really last long. I have really bad way of judgment, but they usually end up either I I don't want to say this, but they usually end up doing YouTubes and stuff like those, and they're the one that create the hype that really is not true,
yeah.
basically, like the hype of AI or
Yeah,
the hype
exactly.
around the
Yeah,
languages or
that's
the
we're gonna get into
packages
that in
and
a
stuff, and
second.
they have all this hype. And the one that I have one friend, he's I think a couple of years younger than me, and he's actually kind of starting up, and he had this idea that AI can do a lot of things,
Replace the
and
developer part.
yeah,
I'm gonna come back to that topics later. Let's
and
keep it there.
also he had this idea that he don't want to do any of those typical projects that the starting engineers do, even when they're running, because he said, in his words, it's too typical. It's everybody does that. But if I have to do the project that he's not doing, it will take me a whole year to do it, because to do the typical thing, for example, I think the library or the bank thing that
Yeah,
we
yeah,
usually have the questions.
yeah.
Yeah, to do those right, you need at least a year with a whole team, not just one person, right?
True.
And he's there like say, hey, this the management thing is not, the library management or these things are not really useful. They don't give you a job, and like he's looking for some fancy projects to do, right? So that's a really 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 bad part of hypes and this
So
hype
yeah,
culture.
this is like as I said earlier, unless you already become software engineer, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah,
Exactly. Don't
definitely.
just go with the hype. I just remember one conversation last time. One I think person, she, I think just finished the degree in university, and in university they teach you a little bit HTML, CSS here, and then just like a very foundation level.
Yeah.
And she called about our boot camp, and she said, "Hey, I want to know more about the boot camp, and then what you do." And then she said, "Sure, I'll love to help you, but let's find out what's your skill level. Do you need to start from zero, or you can just straight away go to the career accelerated program?" And she said, I know everything. I said, "Oh, that's great. Tell me more." I know HTML, CSS, JavaScript, everything." Huh, that's very hard to tell how much you know.
Yeah.
And it's hard, it's going to be really hard for us sometimes to say, "Look, you know nothing," because we don't want to hurt them. But that's the reality,
Yeah, and also
And
kind of demotivates them because
yeah,
it
and
takes
we don't
some
want to do
time to
that.
learn those things. And
Yeah,
then,
exactly. And our job is to make sure that they realize the real, like what is actually
yeah.
interesting here. That's why I like invite person like you to share your experience. And then I still remember that conversation. And then I said, okay, I need to know her skill level, but she would not go in any technical depth. But
Yeah.
she is so like adamant that she knows everything. She like for the developer,
Yeah.
she need to know. And if person already have that mindset, they know everything. Why they are not getting job is sometimes they think about maybe they are in student visa, or they are still not PR. These are not the real reason not to get the job, right? Yeah, there's a small factor,
Yeah.
but that's not the absolute reason. Absolute reason is the skill and communication.
Definitely.
And
Yeah.
I was trying to get out of her head, saying, like, to know exactly what skill level she has and see if we can really help you or not. And I asked, okay, it's hard for me to actually pinpoint your skill level since we are not like going into the deep, and we don't want to like give too much stress to them as well, because we
Yeah,
always here
definitely.
to first
Yeah.
like try to figure it out and support them anywhere possible. And I asked, do you use online platform? I said yes. She said yes. Do you know Amazon?
Mm.
You know Amazon system. So let's say if you were to build this entire Amazon system, including everything it has, all the double multi-vendor admin, how long do you think um, you can build this app project for? And she said, probably I'm a bit busy now, but if I have time, I can do it in 10, 15 days.
My God.
Oh, now, if any of you watching and you know you are a developer, so you know where the conversation is coming, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's the fault of those. It's not really fault because it's also a learning opportunity, and I've done those kind of things like cloning Spotify, cloning Twitter, and all those things. That's great, but the actual production thing, you need to think about 1,000 more things, and not just those features.
the
So,
front end, and then
yeah,
I was like, you know what? Immediately ran in my mind. So I know now the hard
yeah,
level, right? And now, how do I deal with that person? So if I say you know nothing, it's gonna hurt her ego, which is we don't want to,
yeah,
right?
definitely.
And we don't have right to hurt anybody. Our right is to give them right answer.
Yeah.
So I said, look, I think there's a lot information missing. I think there's so many things you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
It would be a really good idea if you have some friends or family member in your circle who is developer, have a discussion with them. And then you'll see the real skill gap, and then maybe you can come over to us and then we can help you understand.
Yeah,
I think sometimes
definitely.
when we say, hey, you only know this much, you don't know this much, it sounds like maybe we're trying to sell them something,
Yeah.
right? But if they go to their friends and family, they will tell them the reality and they will trust. And then we are here to help them get that skill,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
And the reason I'm saying this, like talking about this story, is that we need to know the reality, right, guys? So you will not know unless you build the project, like going back to your earlier example, unless you build the real last
Yeah.
project, and you will not know what's in the stake. Probably that's what happened to that person. If you say,
Yeah.
I know everything, don't worry, then I would have gone to the very wrong direction.
Yeah. And funny enough, the person asking the question, the technical director, he says he don't have a degree. He's a self-taught engineer,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he is a technical director of multiple ventures. So one venture that I'm a part of, so that group has multiple ventures, and he oversees everything.
Wow. Yeah, because in our industry, literally degree doesn't really
Yeah,
matter.
yeah,
So yeah, that's another like, wrong mindset saying, hey, I have a degree. I spent 40, 50, $60,000 doing this bachelor
yeah,
degree. I should get a job. Well, sorry to say that. They don't teach you how to do the work. You will
yeah,
learn really good foundation fundamental. That's maybe useful.
yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, and
But
kind of in his own words, what he said was, if you want to go do the certificate, then the thing that you will learn until you get the certificate, it's really helpful. But the certificate itself, yeah, that's debatable. You
yeah,
might or you might not. So
at the end, you need to do the work to solve the
yeah,
problem, right? Okay, so what happened after the interview done?
yeah. So the interview done, I got an offer for long-term contract. So I signed the contract, and being a technical company, everything happened digitally. And
Okay.
I was in Sydney. The company's in Brisbane. They don't have Sydney office yet. So everything happened through the wire, and yeah, next Monday I started working. So I got the
Congratulations.
thank you. So
Are you still enjoying the work?
yeah, so sometimes it gets really busy, and
Well, that's every
yeah,
work is you need to do the work.
yeah,
But the thing is, do you love doing it? That's the main thing.
definitely, yeah. So it gets busy, and then I get really sometimes really stressed, and then when I finish the work, and then when I'm in my bed looking at the ceiling, and I realize this was my dream job, and I'm on my dream job.
Exactly. And then we
I'm
forget
still,
about that, isn't it?
yeah, and
And the
still
best
enjoying
thing,
it.
best part of your job is 4 days a week job culture.
Yeah.
How amazing, guys.
we still have 4 days a week. So it's actually not, it's kind of policy, but it's not really 4 days per se.
Yeah.
Because if it's really busy or if I haven't finished my work, then definitely have to work on Mondays. But yeah, I get long weekends almost all of the
Yeah,
all of the
but
time.
yeah, it's still like you getting 4 day. Basically, you have
Yeah.
a 4 days work, and yeah, sometimes you work less, you work more capacity.
You know, I like to
Different things.
really put stress on everybody who's interested in technology.
Mm.
We kind of, I don't have a lot of people, but anyone who is interested and try to contact me, and I said I always mention these things because for somebody who is really starting out and they don't know where they might end up, or they don't know even they have a chance, then I always kind of um, almost flex these things.
Mm-hmm.
So not as a flexing, not as a show off, but to kind of give them this
Motivation.
motivation, like, hey, you can be there in 2 years or 3 years, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, I like to mention these things.
That's true. It's just, it's as long as you don't quit,
Yeah,
universe will not quit on you.
yeah,
You
definitely.
make sure you don't quit it. That's right. Just to give some perspective for someone, why should they struggle so much to get into this industry? While even though, let's say, some people already working on some, let's say, as a manager level some way
Yeah.
or in some stable job, but they are not happy,
Mm.
right? Or someone who is, let's say, still working blue collar job or not very happy, right? And they know now the struggle you need to go through, and I just want to give them the motivation factor here.
Yeah, yeah.
So you don't need to tell the number, but let's say when you work as before as a blue collar job and
Yeah.
now, what is the times rate on your pay?
Like if you're starting now, definitely the amount that you're gonna make in a blue job in a week, right? In a weekly pay. In next 5 years, you will make that in one day.
Yeah, or maybe in like an
Even more,
hour.
like after tax. Let's say
Yeah.
after tax in one
Yeah.
day, you will
Yeah.
make that the after tax that you get this week, end of this week, you will get that end of today after. Let's not just say 5 years, probably 4 years, 3 years.
Like a three
Depends on your
years.
skills.
Yeah, if you're good at communication,
Yeah.
2 to 3 years is possible
Two
as
to
well.
3 years, yeah.
Because whenever you go from any kind of job, because for me, like or other developer, whom I have seen, or not, like for you example, going from cleaning to software developer,
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
That happened because when I came to Australia, I didn't have any other job, right? And going from kitchen hand to the developer job,
Yeah.
already the rate jumps by at least 4 or 5 fold,
Yeah, yeah,
and then
definitely.
keep growing, isn't it? So
Yeah.
isn't it worth trying?
Definitely, and also kind of bringing my story into the picture. So I had done all kind of things, like I mentioned before, cleaning, kitchen. I've worked in pizza shops before, and I definitely was not good at any of those because anytime I get a free time, I'm with my laptop, and my friends still makes fun of me because that's something that I found my happiness, to be honest, right? To be
Yeah,
kind of
you did exactly
philosophical.
same like I did.
And I was in the laptop. I was doing all kind of things. Everything that's inside my laptop kind of fascinated me, other than the whole world or the other jobs.
So,
And then also another thing that I've noticed is I was trying to land a dev job, but everybody's like, if you haven't gone through a typical IT job, then you can't land a tech job, like a dev job, like engineering job, right? And it kind of makes sense, but it's not true.
yeah, oh yeah, I really want to put this, I really don't wanted to say this, but literally what happened 2 or 3 days ago, someone came for the consultation.
Yeah.
And this person went to some other job ready program, and they advised him in order to get a professional IT job,
Yeah.
they have to go through the support. There is no other way. And then
That's
what
really
was
false.
told him. He
Yeah,
told me,
yeah.
and I said, "Did they really say no? That's not. People normally don't provide because
Yeah.
we are here to provide the right information, not like exploit their weakness here because they
Yeah.
don't know." And luckily, he already knew the programming, right?
Yeah,
And then
that's
he
good.
instantly judged that person.
Yeah.
Okay, he knows where he is in. And then he shared that story, and then I felt so bad. Please don't do this, guys.
Yeah, I was
Right?
exactly like him, like that person. because everybody, even friends, even my friends in my friend circle mentioned those things, and I was like, it kind of made sense at some point. But I was like, I used to watch all these developers that they went through sort of a job ready program like yours, like a boot camps, and then they were able to land a dev job, not a junior dev job, but like a proper
Yeah,
developer job,
developer job.
because they had some experience before, not as a not working as a support or tech job or even IT. They at one of the examples that I got was somebody migrated from accountant. So
Yeah.
they used to work as a bank, like in a bank, and then they moved to IT. They went through the job ready program, but they realized they already had something like the whole job ready program was teaching them and all the industry needs.
Yeah.
They already had those skills. They just didn't realize it. And then when
Okay.
they got out of the job ready program, everybody was kind of insisting them that you probably would will hire you as a junior dev. But he was like, hey, look, give me a problem, I'll solve you. I'll give you the solution, and then I'm worth hiring as a
More.
developer.
Yeah.
And then he got a lot of rejection. Everybody, those who didn't reject him, offer him either internship or the junior position. But he kind of rejected everything, and we finally found a job as a developer.
There you go. I
Like
mean, yeah,
yeah,
it's a
it depends on
communication
your
as well. Yeah.
skill, depends on how hungry you are for learning, and yeah.
But definitely one thing is sure here, just to coming back to that story, if you want to become software developer, you don't need to know any other
Anything,
ideas. You
yeah.
don't have to go, okay, this is completely different. If you want to go to developer, you just follow the developer path. If you want to go networking, just follow the networking path. You
Yeah.
don't need to learn much coding there, right? And there's other areas. So every job role have its own path.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody brainwash you. Hey, you need to go from here to here.
Yeah.
For example, in case of cybersecurity, yes, you can go from networking to the cybersecurity or programming to cybersecurity. You
Yeah.
can have that kind of like a path.
It will help you,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So definitely you
not
don't need
needed.
to absolutely say, you cannot say you have to do this, then only you get
Yeah.
into the industry. That's so bad.
Yeah,
Advice,
that's
isn't it?
really wrong, because when somebody is trying to hire you as, I don't know, an engineer, developer, infrastructure person, DevOps, somebody, then they don't really look at you as what job you have done before. And if you have done tech support and you're now applying for a programmer job, that kind of doesn't make sense.
That's a
Because you never
completely
did coding in your previous job and then now applying, then what did you do in between? Like,
exactly.
is there
So
anything that you can show us that that can prove or that can kind of convince us that it can really work as
yeah,
an
what did
engineer,
you do?
right? Yeah, so
That
that makes that's more important than the job title.
That's great. So, guys, we just quick summarize here. We went through his actual job landing process. How did he? I mean, not let's say job landing process, his interview process. So, and then we discuss a lot in between. If you missed that, go back
Yeah.
and listen. You're gonna learn tons in there. So let's continue now.
Yeah.
So, what's a small skill students overlook but turn out to be important on the job?
So one thing is sort of interpersonal thing, your personality, your attitude. Because I've been a really quiet person. I still am. People still make fun of me because I don't talk much in meetings.
You know, the organization love that kind of software engineers.
Yeah, and that's one thing, that being able to speak and also being kind of spontaneous, especially in interviews when they ask something, you don't really have a lot of time to think through and then choose your words. So you need to practice those things, and we don't really realize those little things. And also, yeah, body languages. We tend to say things. We tend to say, especially new here from like new to this culture, that we tend to say certain words that seems okay and harmless, but
Yeah,
it
but
actually might be received as an
offensive for
offense
other,
or
yeah.
something. So yeah, those little things you need to be worried about, and you need to be really sort of self-conscious, like what you're doing, how you're sitting, how you're speaking. Those are the interpersonal things. And also for the tech side of things, we are right now, the trend that I'm seeing is, if we need anything, we do either ChatGPT, Claude, something, and we go with AI, and we're kind of losing this ability to find things,
Yeah.
research things, this ability to this actually a skill, the skill to figure something out, it's kind of
Research
declining.
and
And
analyze.
yeah, you might not actually realize it. It's happened to me. I have done vibe coding actually. I'm not gonna lie. I've done vibe coding, and the moment that you stop doing vibe coding or asking for ChatGPT, you're looking at your editor and you have no idea what to do next,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the little things. Like if you are relying on something else to solve your problem, you're taking some kind of shortcut, then it's not going to help you in an interview, because in interview you can't use AI, you can't go through, you can't take shortcuts, you can't do anything.
So you
So,
learn the hard way. Once you
yeah,
learn it, leverage it,
yeah,
isn't it?
definitely.
That's right. Tech changes fast, right?
Yeah.
How do you keep up with this never-ending evolution?
Yeah, I think for me personally, there's uh, two parts to the changes in text. One is the hype,
Yeah,
and the second is the actual change that happens.
the implementation
The
side.
yeah, I call it the slow side and the fast side. So the slow side is actually any new technology that come up. It's really important that you need to be aware of it, that you need to know um, not the whole thing, but you need to have at least some idea, right? And then that's the hype part. So just because there's some hype, so just because something new came up, doesn't mean you need to leave everything that you're doing and then go there. That you're just wasting your sort of your focused. When you try to build a skill, especially if you're trying to learn a language or a specific, or trying to
Frameworks.
build a project using a specific set of packages and stuff, and then something new comes up that seems really fancy, that seems really nice, and might even feels like you're kind of being left out.
Yeah,
So you need to stick to that project. You need to finish that project and
true.
then move to the hype. So yeah, for me personally, what I do is now was working. So at our tech lead or colleagues, we have one channel where we share all these new things, new technology. Even producers, when they see something that's relevant to the product that we're making, they kind of nudges us to that kind of explore those technologies and products. Let's say if we're trying to implement an email thing, right?
Email, yeah,
Like
automation.
I'm building something with JavaScript. Now I need to be able to send emails to the users. So there are a couple of like really easy solutions. You can do SendGrid. You can do if you use AWS, you can do SES, the simple email services, and there's something called Resend. There's so many things, right?
Yeah.
So naturally, before we like really implement that thing, we take a day or something and we go out, find everything that can do emails, and then we try to figure out, look at the cost factor, and there's so many things.
Yeah,
But during that time, you itself get to know about the new things, right?
correct.
New things, you explore them, you probably add it to your bookmarks because you can't read them, you need to deliver
Yeah.
today. So add it to the bookmarks, and then I slowly, every time when I realize that I have something that I've left in my bookmark or somewhere in my bucket, then I go there and study. My first idea is I'll go to the front page. I never look at the landing page because that's a marketing thing. That's trying to sell you something. So I get to the getting started or the API documentation. I look at the things, how to use it, how they want us to use it, and then most of the time, 98% of the time, you have a link to GitHub. So I click that, I go there, I look at the stars, I look at the things. That's my process. Like being really specific, being back end dev. That's what I keep up with new technology, and also there are some things that's kind of beyond dev or beyond engineering side. For example, now AI. There's different models. There's so many things, and we kind of blessed, kind of lucky that our tech lead, our tech director, he's big on AI. He has like a
Oh, okay.
big rig at home. He generates his own image. He has a local machines that can do a lot of things.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
he's big on AI. Anything new comes up, we get to know that the next
Okay, it's
day.
good, good. It's good to know somebody is in the
Yeah,
team, basically upskilling himself and then coming back to you guys and
yeah.
providing delivery.
And he also, I think, made a couple of tools to use in like locally and sort of leverage the local models, the CPU models. So we get to know about new technology from him. Any AI, any machine learning things, we get to know it from him.
Yeah.
And anything package related, anything that kind of comes up as a part of building a product.
Mm-hmm.
And also personally, I'm currently learning Rust and Go.
Oh, okay.
So anytime I have time, I go there, I look at new package, and when you go through the tutorial or go through the book, you get to know about the package. So go in, look at, and that's I think is a natural way of getting to know things. And yeah, but if you go to YouTube and edit place, that's mostly hyped up. So
Yeah, yeah, guys, remember that's a really, really important note to put out there. Most of the time, what we like have this human nature is that if we hear 5 to 10 people talk about same thing,
yeah,
we call it's everybody saying about it.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's a big fear of missing out.
Yeah, I hear from a lot of students saying, hey, everybody talking about this, and how many everybody? Maybe 5 or 10 people.
Yeah.
And then, okay, have you really looked into how many companies doing that? And
Yeah.
then, no,
It's
okay.
actually when you actually get into a team, or if you have a group of developers that are actually working in a project, then it also gets much easier to notice those hypes, because if something is hyped up that I've seen 5 people talking about the same thing, then I look at my colleagues and look at the projects that we're working on, and I say, hey, are we talking about going that route, right?
Well,
If not, then that's it. It's just a hype.
yeah, think about like you have already entire system, you know,
Yeah.
the workflow, the documentation. If you need to change something, how many things involves here? It's not just creating one another YouTube video,
Yeah.
right? So there's a whole process to go through. Even like, for example, you work in backend, you have to even like sometime add new packages.
Yeah.
Now, just to add the packages, you probably have to report,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, forget
Or write the
forget
documentation.
adding a new package. It just some package gets deprecated so quick. Just to change that package with something alternative. Sometimes we don't find one, so I tend to kind of create my own.
Yeah.
So just to get that thing, it's such a pain, because now the sprint is going in its own pace. There's other devs going in their own space, and then we kind of have to make that delivery, and you get that chance to explore and do that, obviously. But it's really hard. Now you have tests. If you had tests written, so I mean written for the piece of code that was using that deprecated library, now you have to change the tests. Now you have to go through whole integration test, and you have to kind of convince your product manager and everybody who's involved in the team that, hey, this package now works exactly how we used to do before, and
With the minimal impact.
yeah, and then nobody trusts you because yeah, that's the nature of engineering. Because even if you make sure that the old package and the new package, or the new old solution and new solution are exactly the same from your perspective, the whole as a project as a product as a whole, yeah, you'll find some places that will get just blow up. So we need to go through whole QA processes. So yeah, it's a headache.
Yeah, that's why like if just somebody hyping something doesn't mean that that's the
Yeah.
thing only, and then you have to run through. If you are learning something, please put the
Yeah.
fully stop,
And also
done
the
that,
kind of
and then learn something new.
yeah, the thing that you mentioned is very important, because if you never finish a project that you started just because something new came up, then you'll never finish any project. Like you'll
Exactly.
have difficulty finishing any product or any project, and you will start to lose interest at the end of the project, and
True.
it will never get wrapped up. And actually wrapping up the project is itself a
Skill.
big learning opportunity, and it's kind of skill, because just because you created a problem, you had a whole full stack applications running, now you never hosted it, then you kind of missed all those learning opportunities of what hosting provider that I use, what services that I use, what architecture is going to run, whether it's x86, ARM, what's my build pipeline. Like there's so many things that you can
True.
learn, and you're just missing out on it.
So I have saying like this is my mental model. How you do one thing, you do everything.
Yeah.
A lot of people talk about this all the time. If you have a habit of like not completing one project, then this is
Yeah.
your character as well.
Not only on the dev or the tech side, it's going to trickle on other aspects of your
Of
life.
the life.
You'll
Exactly,
never
that's
finish
what I was
any of
trying
the
to say.
projects.
Yeah, and like I was one of the best when I was working in the kitchen hand. I was one of the best when I was working in the cleaning. I was one of the best when I work as a dev. And
Yeah.
when I do everything, I try to do my best. You know, so that helps
Yeah.
me keep ahead of like what I want to go.
Yeah.
And the another thing, I usually tell my student rule of thumb: every single code you write should go to GitHub, and every project you start should deploy it.
Every 3 months, every couple of months, I go into a GitHub. I don't do a lot of public things.
I
I
mean,
go and
after
there's
you got the job, you don't really have to
yeah.
do a lot public, but before you do have to, you know.
Yeah. So there's always a lot of this repository that I'm no longer interested in, and I just have to go and delete them. And I'm kind of exactly opposite, like how you said things, like you'll focus on one thing at a time. But probably a lot of people will be able to connect, because I always had this, I mean, it's not a mindset. It's just lack of discipline. I don't want to, I don't want to tag it as something good, but yeah, I tend to run around a lot. I used to call myself headless chicken.
Yeah, it is a human nature, or we call it monkey mind.
Monkey mind, yeah.
Yeah, it happens all the
It
time. It's
will
very
get interested, yeah. A
hard
lot
to
of
contain.
things, and the more that you kind of let go of it, the more that you'll become disorganized, and then you'll be all over the place, basically.
Yes, I think that's like pretty much every human nature. Like
Yeah.
especially in young age, that happens a lot. As you
Yeah.
age and have more experience, you try to settle down more
Yeah,
on
I think
things.
there was one of the problem that I took so long to get from knowing how to read a code and knowing how to do loops and like knowing the syntax versus actually creating my one solution. That book helped me, but it came really late because I jumped from one language to another and I was going through everything. I had did a little bit of Android, did a little bit of Kotlin when Android switched from Java to Kotlin, and then there's cybersecurity, so it's
Yeah.
Python, and then I went to Java, and then again C++, C. Oh my God, I did a lot of things, and
I
that
think
kind
for
of
you that is completely acceptable because you were not developer yet, and
yeah,
there was
yeah.
nobody to
I
teach
was
you.
not looking for a career back then, so it
Yeah.
was kind of fine. But
Yeah.
that kind of hurts me now because I have done that in past so long that I'm working in one project. Unless I have my own personal project, I cannot focus on my work project. I
Yeah.
need to, so I can sort of balance those things. That's why I'm learning Rust, and then I have my own AI thing that I'm experimenting with some models, and then obviously I have the whole full-time job. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's a bad thing to do. I know a lot of people wants to do that, and also especially when you get started, if your goal is to get started in your career, get your career started, then it's really, really important that you kind of be like this. Just don't care about the hypes, don't care about the new things. Learn or master the thing that you're actually learning, and then that will open up a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Just to add on that, if you learn one thing really well,
Yeah.
that teach you a lot about learning something new, which is
Yeah.
always uh, useful to learn something new. You learn
Definitely.
faster.
Yeah.
Okay, we just touched into AI. Now that's where we want to go into.
Sure.
So AI and the future of the work. So everybody talking about AI. In your view, is it replacing dev job or opening new ones?
No, definitely not. Because the way I think is like the one that I mentioned. There's a hype and there's another, the slow
Slow
progress of
line.
the industry.
Yeah.
Because the hype thing, everybody wants to ride the hype train. We see that a lot of people in YouTube or through articles, anything, they we see they're using this new technology and everything. But you really need to ask whether big infrastructure like banks or anything would use that technology anytime soon, right? For example, everybody keeps talking about AI will replace programmers. Will bank trust AI instead of an engineer that they hire and it's been there for 10 years? Unless they have that trust, nobody's going to get fired because of AI. I think the news that we see a lot, that some dev or engineers was kind of let go because of the AI hype. I think because they have their own AI product and they're kind of using that, letting go of engineer as a marketing opportunity. Like, hey, look,
That's a good
we have this AI
point
product
to
here,
look into.
but yeah, we just let go of a couple of our engineers because well, AI is really good. So that kind of gives people this idea that their AI product is good. So I
Okay.
kind of look at it as a marketing thing. But yeah, I genuinely don't think developers going anywhere in the next 5-10 years.
Yeah, and I still see a lot of bank is still using COBOL,
Yeah,
were written in
it's useless.
1990 80s. And I
Yeah,
met one of my students who work in finance company close
yeah,
to banking, and just it's about something to do with the money. And he told me they are still running the system in the legacy code base. Some of them are even
definitely, yes.
deprecated.
Yeah,
And because they are running in their in-house server, that's completely safe. That's fine, right? But if you want to leverage new technology, you have to update the frameworks
yeah,
and language. And they advise the team, and the team do not want to make a single change.
yeah,
It's working, don't touch it. You know,
yeah.
the classic developers
Yeah,
word.
and also really important in the sensitive areas because we might because there's some fanciness attached to the new things, right? We have these desires to implement something the right way or with a new technology that's much better or much safe. That is our driving factor, and we try to refactor the code, but we don't realize that a new thing like how there's a talk I think the null because of the null keyword is $1 billion mistake,
Okay.
right? So yeah, so it kind of has a really big impact that we might not realize. So in sensitive industries like finances and insurances and transportation, yeah, it's really important.
And
So
health, yeah.
yeah, and health as well.
That's
So there's no way that those industry will kind of incorporate AI. They will definitely because it's kind of the point of the
validated by
hype.
human, maybe.
Yeah, the point of the hype is to make you kind of get into this FOMO. So they will probably use some kind of AI, but yeah, the core of what they do as a business will never get replaced by AI. And until then, all of our
Yeah.
jobs are safe.
Yeah, and one more thing, I heard this statement listening one of the podcast. I think he was a psychologist. He said, "We are going to die one day."
Yeah.
Does that mean we stop doing everything now, right?
Definitely. Like my career, I think I'll probably do 10, 20 years more. Probably, I don't know. So I don't think by in 20 years my job will be replaced by AI. So I'm happy.
Yeah, and then
Right?
you will be, of course, leveraging AI along the way,
Yeah,
right? So
obviously. I
that's why,
do
like,
this always. I use AI in work
yeah.
to do my work, to do my personal thing. We actually use ChatGPT to redecorate our living room just
Oh,
last
that's
week,
great.
right? So we're using AI, but just enough, and just like to the point that is really helpful, and not really sort
Relying
of
100%.
yeah relying 100% on it.
For the code, are you guys using any AI model for the code writing, editing, assistant, review, any part of your development? Has that been any AI involved as part of the development experience?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think some of the colleagues they love something like Copilot, the
Copilot,
Microsoft, the GitHub Copilot.
GitHub Copilot.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
GitHub Copilot. I think some people use Windsurf as well. They do a lot of I don't know. They like vibe coding, so there's still some people doing vibe coding. At least some portion of it. Like if you have a complex solution in your head, but you don't have the time or the
To do
skills to kind
everything.
of implement them quick to get the prototype running, then you use vibe coding, you get the prototype, and then you show it to the team. Everybody love it. Then we start writing everything from scratch, or even use the code. So we use that even at work,
Oh,
and
okay.
also yeah, I think there are a few products that we made inside the in the venture studio as well, with a couple of LLMs. So some LLMs we rely on like a hosted LLMs like OpenAI or Bedrocks and stuff like those, or there are some that we host ourselves. So we get the LLM,
What's
and
your
then
go-to platform to host the Bedrocks?
yeah. So the Bedrock for us is still kind of managed services. So we
Okay.
go like really hardcore hosting ourselves. So we get one server running with a lot of GPU, and then we download either Llama or Llama CPP or the VLM things, and then we host our own models there.
Do you still use container to host it, or you do
Yeah,
standalone?
yeah, it's a big content. It takes
Big
like
content
15, 30 minutes to
to just to build it.
build and yeah.
Okay, so then you're using full
Yeah.
Docker skill in that. Okay,
I think it's because of privacy and compliance reasons as well that we
exactly. Yeah.
don't talk a lot about when we're learning.
Mm.
The compliance is a big thing when you're building anything in tech.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing because even like there is a lot of earlier the engineer who helped to build OpenAI have left OpenAI because of the sensitive information that
Yeah.
exposed to and which is not safe for the future human. I mean, future for the human,
Yeah.
and there is not much guardrail how the AI will take its place in the future, it has happened to take, or how anybody can misuse that power. And then, yeah, those sort of things, all the safety and thing concern,
Yeah.
compliance is always there, and very long way to go in terms
Yeah,
of AI.
definitely.
In the,
Yeah, I think in terms of tools, personally, I use Jed editor. So that's
oh,
like a
okay.
VS Code, but devs who build Atom editor,
Oh, okay.
they kind of because Microsoft acquired GitHub and they kind of no longer valid. They had their own VS Code thing. And
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft known to do that,
Okay.
but the engineers who built Atom have built this new editor called Jed,
Mm-hmm.
Jed.
Mm-hmm.
It's completely written in Rust, and for Python, it's really nice.
Oh, okay.
And it also
I haven't
has
used the Jade.
agentic panel on the side, so you can do vibe coding if you want.
Okay.
It also gives you this copilot style completion if you want, or if you
Is
want
that part
discipline
of
as well.
the core feature, or you turn
Yeah,
it
it's
on?
actually part of the code for you. You just have to log in with either using GitHub account or your Gmail,
Oh, okay,
and that's
okay.
it. You get some amount of AI for free.
I think even like now the Copilot is default in VS Code.
Yeah.
They everybody trying to push.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a give you something for free, make you used to it, and then people
Mm,
start paying for it, right?
yeah.
Okay, what skills should student build so they work with AI instead of worrying about it?
Yeah, definitely learning how to use them, not to generate code and then like creating a whole file for you, but learning how to prompt basically. And initially, if you are learning how to code, writing the syntax and being able to kind of transfer the solution in your head to the editor is a big skill. And if you're using AI at that really initial stage, then the AI will kind of take away that skill from you. So you need to still use AI, but to explain some concepts for you. If you have a really big idea or if you have a really complex idea, learn how to structure the prompt in such a way that it will give you only the solutions, like a theoretical solutions or a directions, and then you go ahead and type out everything yourself. So I think
That's
that would be the best way to use AI initially.
Let's say if somebody wants to become a AI developer
Yeah.
and go beyond that and become vibe coder,
Mm.
which order they should learn?
Definitely pick one language, and I'll say Python
Mm-hmm.
because that's a much the really popular one. So you first get Python and first learn Python. So when I said learn Python, you don't have to go and learn everything with Python. You learn how to create a solution with a Python, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to go all in
Just
depth.
syntax level.
Yeah, syntax level, learn how what the objects are, learn the references because it's really important in OOP
Foundation
that
fundamentals. Yeah.
yeah, fundamentals and classes, and you don't have to go all advanced on the dunder methods and everything, but just enough foundation in Python that you can create a small script, small applications. And then next would be to, I would say, use an LLM either locally or using OpenAI. Just sending a JSON, and then LLM will give you a reply,
Just
right?
like using as a API.
Yeah, just like an API.
Okay.
So if you can do that, then you'll naturally learn how to structure a prompt because it's really hard to get AI to give you only JSON.
Yeah, and then there is a way to get the way you want to get the data. You want to
Yeah,
get a different
definitely.
format of the data.
And then you will learn how to slowly, you will realize that using just one model will not give you everything because it will tend to hallucinate a lot if you give it a really open-ended things. So you need to use two models. One kind of does the first pass, give you something, and then second will do the actual hard thing. So you will learn to use multiple models. You'll learn to structure your project in a way that kind of gets the user, get the user input, sort of do the processing on hand without using LLM, then leveraging the LLM to kind of get only the inference. So you'll build that skill really quick, which is really, really important. Even the AI devs, they tend to kind of fail on those because they're trying to do everything with one LLM, and then it doesn't make sense.
That's true.
Yeah.
I watch I think one podcast or video. One of the I think senior engineer in YC,
Yeah.
YC Combinator, and some of their founder they do vibe coding. He was asking them, okay, tell me like how do you use the vibe coding, and they were saying they use multiple model, and then they sometimes feed same problem to two model, and then see which one gives the better output and use them.
Yeah.
And they compare them, and sometimes you find really surprising outcomes.
Yeah. Changing models is a big thing because if you learn to use that using model as some hosted model somewhere, OpenAI or Claude something, then you'll quickly realize that switching the model will give you like much better answer, and also you'll learn to tweak the models, set the temperatures, and set all those things. So you learn some basics of ML, machine learning, and all those things, like a really high level, and then you can either go to the hardcore things, ML, how the models are created, how the models works, and everything, or you can get to a much higher level. Either you go to the dev route, so you use AI to solve problems. So good infrastructure, how you can host your own LLMs, how you can work with them, or maybe architecting certain things, or sort of creating a solution using AI, but using a different, experimenting with different architecture. Because now with AI, the traditional architecture no longer works. There's LLM and there's multiple LLMs, and then you need different
Multi-model
solutions.
LLMs,
Yeah. And then finally you can get into the vibe coding because you know how the model works.
Yeah.
You know what the vibe coding is actually doing.
Yeah.
And you probably have created, by that time, you probably have created a chat application or your own agentic coding thing, or maybe create a plugin for your editor, whatever, if you know enough Python. And then, and if you go to the vibe coding, that you already know the prompt, you already know the limitations of the model, you already know what architecture, what format that you can use, so the model gives you the answer that you need, and then the vibe coding becomes much easier, and you can solve problems much faster using vibe coding.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just few word you mentioned before. One, if you guys realize or not, something called temperature. That's it's not like a general temperature word. In LLMs, the temperature has specific meaning. That is basically telling your AI model how creative it's one you want to become.
Yeah.
So that something goes from 0 to I think 2.
Yeah.
There is some scale value based on the different LLMs, so that tells how crazy you want to make your LLMs go, and it's
Yeah.
really fun to experiment with that. Okay, so guys, we are not very far from ending. I think this has been going very long. I hope you guys really finding some value. I'm really enjoying so far.
Yeah, me too.
A lot of information, helpful information for the listener as well. So let's go a little bit out of the technical space. So if you were hiring a junior dev today, what qualities would you look first?
Yeah, I'd definitely look for somebody who's really curious, who wants to learn, who wants to, because learning, there's two parts on technology. So when you learn things, you learn how to solve a problem, and the second level is you learn how to solve a problem the way that's meant to be solved, right?
That's true.
Like a better way of solving a problem. So you need to learn both. Usually what I see,
It's like a one brute force method,
yeah,
and one optimize
yeah,
method.
definitely. So the one that I see, the pattern that I see a lot with new ones are, um, they do the level first and they think they know the coding. They know they are developers. They're like they can solve problems, but it's not actually true. They can solve problems, but then the code, when you try to get that to the production, then you need to get to the level 2, because creating something on your laptop and putting out there is not going to cut it, because if there are 1,000 people, then everything will collapse.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, so I would want somebody who is in level 1. I'd say somebody who's junior, so level 1, but they know that there's still so many things to learn, and that they're open to that. So that's one quality. And second thing is they can go ahead and try something themselves. Like a lot of people,
Not
what they do
afraid to
is,
try new.
yeah, what they do is if you ask them something, and then they'll ask you 5 more questions on how to do it, you're basically giving them the answers, right?
Yeah.
So I want somebody to go ahead and not be afraid to fail and try their things, and then yeah, there's always people helping them, right? So
That's a great character trait, guys. You can have it, definitely harness that, build that character if you don't have already. And what's something students stress over that doesn't really matter to employers?
I would say packages. People tend to use a lot of fancy packages, and they try to stress on these acronyms or technical words. That
Making fancy.
yeah, like trying to sound fancy, trying to sound smart. That's basically useless.
Okay. Any quick tips for LinkedIn, resume, or GitHub that you got noticed?
If you have money, if you can spend it, get LinkedIn Premium. That really helps. Second is don't try to change your profile a lot of times, because the person who hires you, they can see those changes. Like every time you change your profile, they get notifications like, hey, somebody was interested in you thing, or you were interested in somebody. They just updated their profile, so they get that notification. I have got so many messages every time I update my LinkedIn profile. They say, hey, we noticed that you recently updated your profile. If you're interested in something, right? So yeah, definitely experiment. But once you got that really nice resume, nice format that you start getting interviews and everything, then you kind of keep it fixed,
Yeah,
right?
until then, do the
Yeah,
experiment.
until then you really have to do the experiment. And then yeah, that's with LinkedIn. And then always after you apply, feel free to start that communication channel with the hiring managers. That's really important. And resume also, yeah, we tend to highlight a lot of things, especially the beginners. We tend to highlight, oh, I know HTML, I know CSS, I know JavaScript, and all these frameworks. I'm the person who's actually looking for engineers. They already know what they want. So what you need to explain to them is the project that you have done, the problems that you have solved using that language. If you want to mention that, hey, yeah, I use Python, I know Python, then it's best to sort of in 1 or 2 sentences say that, hey, I've solved this thing with Python, or hey, I've solved this thing, or I built. Even if you want to say I know HTML, CSS, just say, hey, I built this full stack application, or if I built this clone, and you can find it here. You might have a GitHub, or you might have a portfolio page, right? I see a lot of things as skill. They list Git and everything as a skill, but Git and HTML, CSS, you don't have to mention this 2025
No,
basically.
no.
So I mean, if you are applying for front end jobs, you
If you say
might,
React, probably it's already
yeah,
covers. You definitely maybe want to say JavaScript. Yes,
yeah,
that's a different thing.
JavaScript, and then you probably have to, you might want to mention the front end things that's
And
much
CSS
popular,
framework. Yeah.
yeah, and then you can say, hey, if you really want to showcase or kind of flex that you really can create something from scratch, HTML, CSS, then yeah, create a project, put it out there, and give it a link. Like, hey, I built this thing, you can check out, and I've used only HTML, CSS, JavaScript to build that. And then when an engineer looks at that thing, that always will be like, wow, this is awesome, right?
Yeah, yeah. They
So
can
yeah,
see the value.
yeah, they can see the value.
If you had to start from zero today,
Yeah.
what's the first step you'd take to get into the industry for the first time?
For the first time, I'll probably get a one big piece of paper and then list out everything that I know and everything that I don't, and then
Okay.
go through all the job ads that I want. Like first thing you really want to fix, getting into the industry is one thing, but in what would be the first position that you want to enter the industry with? Like for
Or
me, it was
that you are qualified for.
yeah, and also what I'm qualified for. So I knew that I won't be able to do front end much better. So every time that I applied, I only applied for the back end jobs.
Okay.
So I'd probably list what I know and what are the opportunities there, and then I'll try to figure out what I'm missing, and then I'll just study and study and study.
Okay. What is the qualification process for yourself to say, hey, I'm qualified for this role?
Let's say there's a job ad that says we need a JavaScript engineer, and then they need to be able to do AWS things. Then just because I've done so many projects within when I was learning everything, that I know that JavaScript and then hosting, that means either I'm hosting backend or front end, and I can probably kind of infer that, hey, I need to be able to do something. I need to be able to create services, host front end, back end, and a full stack solution in AWS. And then if I'm able to, if they give me one random hypothetical problem like an app, then I can build it up, at least as prototype. If I can, in my head, I can start building that piece by piece. I don't even have to write the code. If I can, if that problem makes sense, and if I can create a solution that makes sense, that solves that problem, then I'll be like, yes, I can do it.
Okay, that's a good benchmarking.
Yeah.
How about this? If I get job today and I have to work on one feature today,
Yeah.
will I be able to do the work?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
yeah, that it's okay to do, let's say, Googling around to find the solution, but even after Googling, will I be able to solve that problem?
Yeah, and also I think kind of adding to that, many engineers they feel sort of imposter syndrome,
Yeah,
and
that.
I was one of it. So when I got the job offer, I was doing already lot of things. I had the skills, and also the interview went well. Everything the offer is signed, and I'm officially there. But just looking at the offer, I realized, am I good enough to do this? Like you get that
You will always
questions,
get the
right?
imposter
And
syndrome.
then and it also is because uh, the venture studio that I work with, they have award-winning they have done award-winning things, sort of both for clients and also their internal ventures. And like from outside, it looked like, oh my god, I'm entering into this amazing place, and they have so many awards for everything. And
Okay.
will I be able to deliver that kind of meets their standard, right?
Mm.
Yeah, it kind of gets into that whole
Imposter
whether I'm
syndrome.
I'm I'm ready or not, and then and quickly I kind of realized, okay, so I've done so many things before, and whatever they ask me to do, definitely we have done the interview. They know my resume, so they know what I know, like to some point. And if they ask me something that I already don't know, I can figure it out.
That's true. And I think what happened that is it happens to everybody, even sometimes happens to me. It usually happens because I am focusing too much on what I don't know
Yeah.
versus what I know. That's a big one. So as soon as it happens, I'll try to go back to that list. Okay, am I focusing too much on what I don't know? So I should focus on what I know first.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that motivates me more is that I get to learn this. Yes.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. Yeah.
If I
It's not
like
the end
say,
of the world if you
yeah,
don't get a job or if
exactly.
you something
I get to
happens.
learn something this amazing. So
Yeah.
that gives me a positive. That's how I try to say to my imposter syndrome to that
Yeah.
positive mindset, so that we go forward and then learn faster.
Yeah. For me, I think it took me some time to get to that point that, hey, I
It
believe
takes
in my skills
practice.
and I can figure it out. So just to kind of get that, yeah, state, it takes some time. I'm big on books. I read a lot of books. And there was some point I used to go through all kinds of motivation things,
Oh, okay.
videos and stuff. So yeah, I kind of have like a half philosophical side, and then I tend to, yeah, I
That's
tend to
always
make
helps. That's
myself calm.
always,
Yeah.
thank you for your time and coming to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
having me here.
Thanks. Thank you guys for staying all the way to the end of this podcast. I hope you really got some value from here. So what I really want favor from you is that if you find some value to this video, make sure to subscribe the channel. So it helps us to grow and then reach out more people like you. And can you do me a favor and take 3 big takeaway that you got from here? Write it in the comment. So and announce that what change you're gonna make that's gonna help you land the job. So you are basically publicly announcing something that you're going to do, and when people do announce things publicly, they tend to do faster. So do that in the comment and I'll go and read myself. And if you have any question that you want me to cover to my next guest, write down in the comment as well. With that saying, I'll see you next.